So welcome to Rest of Designs, guys. A happy new year, 2024. Let's get into this. More Mark II content this year. It's going to be quite a bit of Mark II content. Now, what's coming this week? A Mark II Golf. A little bit special, a little bit different, this car. So here it is, guys. Look at that. Got a blue grille, Type 19. Look at that, two-piece windows, skinny bumpers. Now, this one's a little bit different. It's running like a C-Pack, if you want to call it that. Rolling on these roller turbos. It's got the little splat, so it's actually de-arched it, de-GTI'd it and made it into a C, even though it is a GTI by logbook. You've got the little CL front smaller lip there, rear light units, standard GTI, spoiler. The interior actually gets quite trick here. I think it's quite nice. He's found a set of Type 19 blue door cards. Don't know where he found those. Carpets. He's had a set of, these look like a Ford Escort RS Turbo front seats, retrimmed in a blue trim, matching the door cards, actually really close to the look on the door cards. And the back seats as well. He's had them trimmed with the carpet. Yeah, it does look quite nice. Early steering wheel with 4 buttons. It's also got non-power steering, this car. Another little bit is actually quite nice. He's actually got the ashtrays, got 2 ashtrays, one in the middle, one in the console. Set of gauges there, and even the door pockets, look at those, with no speaker grill, or even the little pocket that opens. It's definitely an early car to have that, or early door cards. Now the engine, I can't believe I've got another one of these coming in, and it's actually a 2E 8 valve. Now this is going to be the 3rd one I've had. I did Project Joker, which was a 2E. I've got that convertible, that GLI, which has got a 2E in it, which is going to be needing work on it as well. And yep, this one, as you can see, it's been dropped in fairly decently. The engine bay hasn't been painted, but the bodywork's in really good condition. Now, there's a few small running issues with this, and ultimately, and what we're going to do is there's a list of stuff to do, but the main thing is actually we're going to go standalone on this. Going to put a K-Data universal one. They don't do one and plug and play for this, so yep, I'm gonna have to mess around maybe with the throttle body, tap the inlet manifold to put an air temp in there as well. I'm going to be removing this contraption off here and just put in a GTD airbox on that, tidying up, as well as a few lists of other bits that we need to go through before I actually take on and we do the standalone conversion. There's a list of stuff that we need to do beforehand, and I want to get that out of the way so that then that's actually done, so that when I do the conversion on this to the standalone and start mapping it, I don't have anything else to deal with, because we need to sort bits out. And one of those bits is the wheel studs or the wheel bolts. I think one of the threads are damaged on 3 of the wheels, he said, so to check that, re-tap that. If it needs a new hub, then I need to put a new flange on it. Also, for some reason, this car's running no oil cooler, so something's better than nothing. So yep, I'm gonna get the fitting for that and the hose, what's missing from there, and actually put the oil, a new oil filter, a new oil, and the oil cooler. One of the other things as well is, oops, let's hit the camera there. Next thing we do is we're going to wire up this the oil pressure, oil temp, and voltmeter up as well. And once that's all done, then we'll tackle the standalone ECU, guys. So I've got my snap-on tap and die set. As you can see, it's been around the block. I've had this for maybe 30 years, showing my age there. 4x100 run a M12, which is the thickness, and by the pitch is 1.5. So probably going to use that instead of that. It's going to be easier because then I can actually do it without taking the wheel off. Alright, so I found what is the issue. The front ones are actually fine, no issues there. The back ones now, those are tight. This one isn't. It kind of just spins, you can feel it. It's like it wants to give. On the other side, it's 3 of them, literally. I mean, this one literally just turns. That's the only one that's holding it, sorry. Yes, look. It just keeps on spinning. 3 of them do that. I mean, they come out luckily, but yeah, there's only literally one bolt that's holding it on the rear, so just needs a rear set of discs. There is no repairing this, unfortunately. So yeah, I'm definitely not going to be driving this, trying to fourth gear, doing a pull at fourth gear at 6,500 with this, with just one bolt holding it on. Yeah. Okay, so I guess stripping this down, let's change those rear discs. So now that we've sorted out those rear discs, and I've got actually 4 wheel bolts on each side holding the wheel on. I forgot also there's another thing I need to do, which is the customer's giving me this. He says his fan doesn't work, so now that we're going to attack the inside with these gauges, let's see why the fan isn't working. So you need to remove the actual bottom pocket. There's 5 screws holding it in place. There was only 4, there was one missing, which is this little one there, which kind of stops it vibrating. So what I'm going to do is unplug the plug, check there's no burnt wires or anything, because these can overheat sometimes. And no, it seems fine. What I'm going to do is actually I'm going to plug this straight into this replacement one and see what it does. So I've got the ignition on, got the fan plugged in, and turn the switch, and we have nothing. And the switch actually feels quite funny. Obviously you can't tell on the video, but it doesn't feel right. So next thing I'll do is see if I actually got any current going here. If there's an earth missing or something missing here, let's see why this isn't working. Right, so I've checked it, and yeah, there's no power coming here at all from any of the 3 speeds. So never that easy. Let's see why. Let's see if we're getting power coming into the switch here. So that's number 1, which is the white wire. Speed 2 is the yellow and black wire. And now speed 3 should be just the yellow wire. Yep, so that's all working. So now let's plug it in to the fan. Okay, let's try speed 1. Okay, nothing. Let's try speed 2. Okay, nothing again. Speed 3. Okay, so the motor works, and speed 1 and speed 2 don't work. So here on the bench, so I'm going to mark which one's which for yourselves and myself to work out which is the ones and what I've changed around. Okay, so this is the spare that came, and the one without the mark is what was fitted into the vehicle. And as you can see, there's bits coming out now. The one that was in the vehicle, yeah, the motor looks like it's knackered. It doesn't spin, whereas this one, you can see it moves a lot more freely. I'm going to remove this resistor pack and see if I can make it work, and see if we can get all the speeds with this fan motor here. So you just literally push that clip up, and that's it really. Just unplug these 2 wires. Job done. That's the resistor pack. Really quite simple. So let's just remove the one that came, that the owner gave to me. There we go. Get that out. That does actually look in better condition, but all right, let's just that's it. It really is that simple. Let's see now if that combination works. So I'm back. Unfortunately, I tested it, and that resistor pack also doesn't work. The actual owner did say originally that that only worked on number 3, and the reason is the resistor pack is definitely gone. So I'll just put the one that I marked back into it and leave that as a package, and then just leave that there for the owner. And then maybe he can source another resistor pack. I've also, it's a bit squeaky, but I've oiled it up. Hopefully that'll work itself in. I'm going to put a bit more WD and some white grease on there. It should sort this out. All right, so let's get this back fitted onto the car and move on to the next thing, which is going to be the gauges. So there's no point really putting those bits on, because I needed to remove the actual clocks, the gauges that were here. Now I saw this laying around the back of there, which is like some old radio thing. It's literally just flapping around the back of there. So yeah, that isn't great. This would have been the original wiring for the radio. So hopefully that's an earth, hopefully that's a key 12, and hopefully that's the illumination. What I'm going to do is I'm going to remove these little bits that they've actually pushed into there. So removed. So now I'm just going to tape up the speaker wires. Even though there's no current going to them, they may cause a short on another wire. So I'm just going to tape them together and cover those up like so. So that's safe now to just chuck around the back there. So now I'm going to turn the ignition on and let's see, hopefully if I get what I want, earth, key 12 and illumination, that would make my life a little bit easier. All right, so let's see. So we've got earth there, perfect. So now the ignition is off. Oh, no, ignition is on. Let me turn the ignition off. Now the red wire should hopefully be key 12. Oh no, permanent 12. Okay, so I can use that for the voltmeter then. So I'm going to need to find the key 12. And now this should be the lights. So, yep. So if I turn the ignition on, turn the light switch on, this should give me a 12 now. Perfect. Back on the bench. So these are the gauges. Okay, so the voltmeter's only got a plus and a minus, a plus and an earth. The pressure has obviously got plus earth and signal, which is an S, I take it. And again, plus earth and signal for the oil temp. All right, first things first, I think I'll make a little loom up for the lights so we can get that done with that grey and blue wire. So after about an hour or so, this is what I've made. It took me ages to find some plugs. And so basically what I've done is the lighting plug is on a separate loom. And then you've got plus 12 earth, and then you've got the two signal wires for the oil pressure and the oil temp, all done as well on a 4-plug thing. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to integrate, obviously I've got the other side of these plugs, I'm going to integrate those into the car. I'll just quickly show you guys what I've done. All right, so in the car, you see the gauges up there with those 2 plugs, and I've integrated them there into the car. So basically what I've done is cut off that plug, which was from the radio. So I've used the earth for the lights as well as for the gauges. One wire going in, 2 wires coming out, and then it did the grey and blue wire for the illumination for the lights. So that's done. Now I used the permanent 12 that was here. I've used that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to convert it down in the fuse box. As you can see, I've dropped the fuse box. Now I'm going to use with my multimeter, check the continuity, find this wire, and then swap it around at the fuse box so that it's actually a key ignition 12 instead of a permanent 12. And then these are going to be, I think it was the brown and red wire is oil pressure, and the blue and green wire is going to be for the oil temp. Let's see if he's actually got, he should have an oil temp thing. Yeah, he does have an oil temp sender there. So it obviously runs into there, and then from there disappears off into the harness somewhere. So I'm going to have to find that wire. And then the oil pressure, I'm going to run, probably going to remove that from there, and then see if the VDO gauge works. The VDO, sender works with that gauge there, which is a 10 bar gauge, it's a 10 bar sender. I'm hoping it does work. Now I totally forgot that these CE1 cars actually has this block here, this plug here, as you can see, just there and there. So I don't actually need to go to the fuse box. I've actually done it here, so I've actually isolated the wire, and now I'm going to move it across to with my tester scene, which is an ignition 12 on here, and the correlating pin, which is black and blue wire. So that's what that's going to get soldered onto, so that then I've turned that to ignition 12. So it's all back together. Turn the ignition now. Okay, there you go, 12 volts. Perfect. And what I've done is pushed the signal wires here. So now I'm going to have to find a way to go through the bulkhead and wire up to those 2 sensors at the front. Unplug the oil temp wire, and I can see it's green and black. And now I've removed the expansion tank, and I can see, I think I've been quite lucky in the wiring loom here. I think I can see 3 wires cut. Oh, there you are, just here. And I think that is a green. I think I can see the green and black wire there. So what I'm going to do is check continuity to make sure that is the same green and black wire. And then luckily I just go from here straight into there, all wired in. Remove that one. Now let's see, moment of truth. Maybe I'm a bit of a snob, only deal with video, but yep, so that's where we're at. Ignition on. Okay, we've got 12 volts. That's moved slightly, but it's still on the way negative. And that's up. Let's see what happens. Yep, there's nothing happening there with... yep, so I'm going to have to let the customer know that he's going to need to get some kind of sender unit that is compatible with these FAE gauges. Yeah, he's going to need a sender, an oil pressure sender for those. Alright, so let's move on to the next thing then, which is going to be... and actually put the oil cooler in and get all these bits sorted, so that's all then, that's the oil side of it sorted then. So remove the oil filter, also found the hose, this kind of odd shape, U-shaped pipe, which is the one that was missing. And here on the bench, here's the goods. Pierre bag, good quality, man oil filter, again good quality, and some 1040 semi-synthetic oil. Now, here you can see I've removed what was originally on there, which is a short one, where the oil filter just literally just screws straight on, and this is what you need if you're going to do this kind of conversion. Or even if you're actually just doing an oil cooler with a sandwich in it, and you've got like a radiator grill remotely on the front of the car, you're still going to need to source one of these long ones. So yeah, one thing to be careful of is to actually remove these tabs. Don't go fitting it on like that, because then you're definitely not going to be using the oil cooler, have some serious issues. Okay, so that's literally ready to go. Just going to screw this on. So it's all mounted up with a new filter on it, ready to go. Oil's put in, just topped it up with antifreeze. So that's checked off the list, short shift. Now, he wants the rocker cover painted because it's all peeling off and he wants it back in silver. As well as, I've got this issue here with the throttle body of this AGG. It's got this stepper motor here that controls the throttle. There's no idle valve. So he's actually sourced me an idle valve, which I'm gonna have to plumb in. And also I need to take the inlet manifold off, simply because the air temp sensor is part of this air mass meter. So you have to drill and tap in this Bosch air temp sensor somewhere. I'm not going to put it there, that looks a bit ugly, but maybe along the side here, so it looks kind of a bit OEM and kind of out of the way. Really it should be kind of here or there, where the main airflow is coming in. You know, you don't want it kind of underneath, you want it higher up, because that's where you get the temp. So it's either going to have to be like there, but that looks a bit odd, or just there, I would have thought. So it's right by the throttle body, getting the airflow coming in. Yeah, I think so. It's going to have to go, unfortunately. So yeah, so to do that, you're going to have to remove the inlet manifold anyway, so might as well just remove the cover at the same time, do the inlet manifold, and see if there's any issues. All right, so I guess start by removing accelerator cable. Now also I can see the fuel lines look like they're wrong ones. Looks like they're a 10mm instead of an 8mm, and also the Jubilee clips look a bit large, so I'm going to put the right size on them, and you can actually see that I can actually rotate them around. They're not very tight, so yeah, I better replace these with some the right size fuel pipes. So that's another thing ticked off the list. I've also cable tied them together so they were loose, hitting and rubbing against the bodywork, which isn't ideal. Also see the loom is hanging down here. It needs one of those clips, those VW ones. Luckily I've got one in stock actually, and also it's supposed to go over these coolant pipes. It's supposed to go up here, so I've managed to get them over that pipe. Also from stock I've actually got the original little clips that screw into place, so we'll screw one here and be able to hold the wiring loom up away from the exhaust manifold. I think I'll put the other one probably, yeah, just there actually. There isn't another one. There you go, it looks a lot neater. So I've removed the throttle body and it's inside, and I'll show you why I've done that. Because I'm thinking actually, I can actually drill it and tap it in place here, and quite easily with a vacuum cleaner and some cloth, I'll be able to catch all the little bits and have no issues there. So it just makes my life a little bit easier, actually tapping it right there. And also I did actually get something wrong. This actually, the air mass meter is only 3 pins. It does actually have an air temp totally separate, so it's actually not part of that anyway. So I did get that wrong. I thought it was the later type ones, but it's not. What I've done is I've trimmed back the wire in the position it should be actually in the airflow. So that's already done, tapped, bolted on, nice. So this is the original one. It's got a stepper motor, but yeah, you see it's got like a bit of free play here, because that's actually the movement that you can actually open. The stepper motor can actually open the throttle, look, by that much. So this is all free play that the stepper motor has over the throttle, that much there, to control the idle and flare as well when you start it up. So it kind of revs up and things. It actually controls the throttle on this. It's kind of like the first fly-by-wire throttles to an extent, well, as far as the idle is concerned, because it's actually not a bypass, it's actually controlling the throttle here. Stepper motor. So I found this, which I think is off a 2E maybe, or maybe off a 1.6 101 horsepower car. The throttle body is actually the same size. The stud pattern is exactly the same size. So I think ultimately that's what we're going to go for. It just makes my life a little bit easier with the TPS. And like I said, and I can control the throttle stop and set idle a lot easier with that. So now it's time for the main event. We've sorted out all those little things that need to be done on the list. That could have been an issue. It's always good, before you do a standalone, get out all the little issues that you need to get out, because when you're doing mapping and standalone, you don't want to kind of second guess yourself with these little problems. So it's always advisable to get as much done and get the car as perfect as you can. The K-Data ECU guys, yep, it's a pretty nice bit of kit, especially for the price. Got them at the Christmas special when they were doing on discount. So, you know, they were under literally 400 euros. I think it was 369 maybe, or something like that, which is an amazing, really, for a standalone ECU. And this is what comes in the box. This is the ECU itself. And this is actually better than the plug and play ones, I think, because it's weather sealed. So once it's closed, you can actually have it under the bonnet, whereas the original plug and play one, they've left a massive hole here, so you can actually put the communication wire through, and 2, you can have the wideband control going through it. So I mean, yes, you could put some kind of silicone sealer in it and seal it up, but then when you try it, if you have to open the ECU up for some reason to change something, you can't, because it's kind of stuck. But I guess why would you? But yeah, you can kind of seal it up. But this is actually a nicer looking package. The only issue that I've noticed with this is that if you do want to actually plug your communication wire in, you're going to have to split it, because the plug's actually there. It would be nice if it was like a weather seal on the outside and you could kind of, like a little rubber grommet or something on it. Get the pins, communication wire and the CD disc. So yeah, I guess guys, brought the car inside so it's nice and warm and dry if it does rain. Start tackling the wiring. So by magic of editing, let's jump forward a bit. All right, so I had to mess around and actually open a new project. Obviously the firmware is slightly different. I had to do auto detect, and it's working, so I can see it's connected there. Now I'm just gonna have a look and see what's actually on this map. And I'll modify it so that it runs with what I've got here, which is gonna be Hall for the crank sensor and also the injector sizing and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's an arduous task, but yeah, all I've done so far is just power it up, plus and minus, and yep, and that should be where that's at. So maybe this is so time consuming and monotonous, but I guess what's made my job easier, I've actually worked out which wire is which. I've labeled them up, and the reason why I've done that is so that then here I've written the numbers as well, what color the wire is, what the wire does, and then also what I've done at that point, then I've found that wire on the K-Data wiring plug list, and then actually put the K-Data pins number there. So basically, I find the wire, it goes to pin. So basically, what have I got here? I've got injector 1, which is wire 3, goes to pin 10. wire 6, which is grey and blue, injector 4 goes to pin 16, and so forth, and then the earths and all the rest of it. So it just makes it a lot easier, and you're less likely to make a mistake, or I'm less likely to make a mistake that way. And what I also do is I tend to just put a little bit of solder as well once I've actually crimped them onto the connectors. You know, I've only got another, how many have I done? What number? I've got like another 20 wires to go maybe. So see you in a bit. So where are we at? We are at this point here. So I've done all the wiring in the 2 plugs, done all the earths and all the bits and bobs. So that's all ready to go. Now, the only modification I need to do is going to be 2 plugs on this side, which was to do with the old TPS plug, which was this one here, the throttle position sensor plug, which had wiring for the stepper motor. So it's got a few wires connected. So I've got to take off 3 wires for the new plug for the new throttle, and then also 2 wires there to solder on for the plug for this style idle valve, which is going to kind of sit here like this. So let me get on with these. Okay, so we're towards the end now. Those are done. That's the last thing ticked off the list as far as wiring is concerned. I'm just going to double check the timing to make sure that's all fine before we can move on and actually plug in the laptop and make sure all the connectors are right. Yep, so I've plugged it in. This is the screen, it's all working. Now what I've done is, there was an update I had to do because I've done loads of stuff offline onto the map, changed the fuel map, the ignition map, the trigger settings, a whole load of stuff to match the VW setup. What was in here was kind of generic, so I've had to change that. That took me a good few hours to do that offline, just uploaded that into there. So now that we've got this in, I'm going to make sure I'm getting the right voltages at the TPS, at the throttle position sensor, at the crank sensor, and all the rest of the sensors, make sure everything's fine, the coil, everything, and then we're going to slowly plug it in. But I think the first one we're going to plug in is always going to be the throttle position sensor, because we need to set that up and calibrate that. So I've checked the voltage, and it's 5 volts is what I wanted. I've plugged it in. Now hopefully you guys should see that move at that end there, which is cool. But if you do notice, it's trembling, and it's actually going over 100%. So what we need to do is, I think it's tools. Yep, and we've got TPS calibration. So that is closed. We've got the current for closed. And then I'm going to have to move the laptop, unfortunately, guys. Okay, so I'm back. As you can see, it's not shaking anymore, and it's sitting on 0. And now when I go to 100, it shouldn't go, when I go full throttle, it shouldn't go over the 100%. It should stop near spot on 100. Let me check now. So that's wide open throttle. That's closed. Yep, and as you saw, it went straight to 100 and didn't go over as it did before. So that's really simple. You just go to Tools, and you can just easily calibrate TPS, and you just click the values that you need to do. It's really, really easy. So next thing I've done, I've plugged in the air temp sensor. It's reading about 70, which is about cool. You can see here the coolant temp is at 180. So when I plug that in now, that should drop down to the same as the air temp. Plugged in. Perfect. So the air temp's at 70, coolant temp's, because it's stone cold, so it should be at the same temperature. Air temp, basically room temperature, is what both of those should be at the moment. So they work, TPS works. So now I've actually, here in the photo, you can see I've had to toggle these 2 toggles from VR to Hall. So I've done those. So the next test we're going to do, I've plugged in everything now apart from the coil, and everything's plugged in, the crank sensor, the cam sensor, and all that stuff's all plugged in, air temp and all the rest of it. So now when I crank it, we should hopefully see this, should see an RPM signal. That means that the crank sensor is working. And then it's just a matter of plugging in the coil and seeing if it fires up. Okay, here we go, guys. Make sure it's in neutral. Oh, battery's dead. Okay, let's go again. I think I did actually, just before it did kind of do a little crank, I did see this flash green and move a little bit. So let's see what it does now. Hopefully it'll work. There we go, we've seen a crank signal, guys. All right, so let's plug in the coil. There you go. Now let's see if it fires up.